On today's episode of Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles, we will be talking with Daphne Griffin. She will be sharing her colorful Hall China teapot collection. We'll also be talking with Dan Smith, a repurposed craftsman who makes some extraordinary things out of ordinary items. Stay with us for Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles. I'm glad to have with us today Daphne Griffin from Charleston, Illinois. Welcome, Daphne.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Daphne has a beautiful collection, as you can see. She collects Hall China. Now, with us today, we have a lot of pitchers, a lot of teapots. How long have you been collecting this colorful Chinaware?
I think my husband and I, when we first moved to the Midwest, were new to antiquing, and good friends of ours back in 1990 said, hey, we have nothing to do on Sunday, let's go to Third Sunday Market in Bloomington. And that was the beginning of the end for us with regard to collecting. And we started, with a variety of different things. It didn't start out with Hall China, but it did with a couple of other antique Depression ware glass patterns, and then we ended up seeing a couple of these pieces and started at that point.
Well, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
What can you tell me about Hall China? How long have they been making Chinaware?
I believe they started in the early 1900s. When we were avid collectors way back when, we were really probably more up to speed on what was going on in the company, but it's been a while. But, it wasn't just teapots that they did. They started out with kitchenware and dishes and really got going in their production during the Depression era and sold it in refrigerators to help people store their food, and then expanded into teapots when tea was a big thing back then.
I see. Well, of course, China has been around for a long time, but what was it about Hall China that made it so appealing to both manufacturer and public?
My belief was that it was a different firing process, if I remember correctly, in the fact that everything was fired at a higher temperature all at once with the glazes already applied. And it made it a little bit more durable. It made the glazes less subject to decay. And again, I think it gave them more of a variety of color that they could use.
Absolutely. I was reading up on it just a little bit, and what I read was there were like 47 different colors that they used for their China pieces.
Right.
Which is your favorite color to collect?
My favorite color is this one, although you don't see many in that color. I believe this color was referred to in one of my books as Screaming Yellow.
Screaming Yellow.
And they had Chinese red, and they had different other, these reds are slightly different. They had a number of different greens and blues and navies that I have, but I didn't bring, and pinks and lime greens, just any color.
And patterns too,
yes.
right?
Yes, they did. They had a number of kitchenware lines in a variety of different patterns. One of the most popular being collected is what they call jewel tea or autumn leaf. And my husband and I weren't so much into the printed dinnerware. We really liked the solid colors and the funky shapes of the teapots, so that's the direction that we took when collecting it.
I would love to see your house. How do you display all of these?
We have a rather eclectic collection of furniture. We have old dental cabinets that we fancied way back when we were furnishing our first apartment, and they're metal cabinets with glass doors and glass shelving. And we have most of our teapots, the ones that we choose to display, we have out in those. And as a gift to us for our wedding, my in-laws gave me a very old pie safe that is all glass on the front and glass on the back, and it turned into a buffet. And we have a lot of our other collections in that.
I see. So now, Screaming Yellow, that was one of the more rare colors. Would you say that's probably then a rare teapot?
This piece is actually a water carafe, and I've never seen another one like it. I've seen them in different colors, but not the Screaming Yellow. And I want to say we found this in Kentucky at one point when we were traveling back through Ohio. But this particular piece, I've tried numerous times to contact current collectors and ask them the value of it, because I really don't know. I don't think we paid very much for it. But again, it's not something I've ever seen in any show, in any book, online, anywhere. So it is one of my favorite pieces, but you can't have mine.
I'm afraid to pick this one up.
Here, you can without the lid on it.
Thanks. That's the first rule of TV, you don't break the guest stuff. So I want to look at the mark on the bottom of this, see if we can get maybe a look at this. Now, I know they are actually, Hall is still producing, and
I think they actually are, yes.
And then they even are reproducing some of their old designs. How can you tell?
I think, some of the I don't know what the current marks are again because it's been 15 years or so since I've picked up a Hall piece. But back then, if this is the kitchenware collection, and most of the lines that had dishes or whatever came with this. I believe this was a later mark than the earlier one. There was an earlier mark that was produced that was just the little round mark here.
Get that
I'm
toward the
take
camera
that lid
a little.
out.
Yeah, you take that lid.
And these were produced a little bit before the kitchenware line.
Oh, okay. So there's more than just teapots and watercrafts, pitchers. There's also other serving pieces?
They did a whole line for Montgomery Ward and Westinghouse and Hot Point, Sears, refrigerators where they had little leftover dishes that they supplied with the refrigerators. And again, for a while, my husband and I collected those, but they ended up in boxes in the basement. But again, all in the bright colors. There was an entire line of Hot Point that was just beautiful in its collection. There was a water jug and there was tiny little tiny little refrigerator cases and bigger ones.
Do you have any of those? Or?
I have a little bright orange one that I use for my salt when I cook.
I'm going to put your favorite one over here next to me for a little while. I love green. Tell me about this one. This is so adorable.
That is a line called Sundial, and this is a syrup jar. And the top is latched so that you can pour with it on without it falling out.
Gotcha.
But Sundial, again, most of them had this sort of little marking on the top.
Right.
And we have some larger casseroles by Sundial that we've hung on to.
Okay.
And
Look at
they
that.
even did little creamers that we have and little sugars that we collected over the years too.
Awesome. Now, what's this color called? Do you know?
That color I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I know my screaming yellow, but I don't
wanted to
know
have
the
a
other.
cute name like that. Now they name all the patterns
Yes,
and
they do.
styles and everything too. What about this adorable? It looks almost like a genie.
It is.
lamp.
That is called the Aladdin teapot, and this is one of the royal blues. I don't know the exact color, but the nice thing about this one is it comes with its own little infuser. So you put the tea in there, and you put your hot water and keep your infuser in there.
You must love tea.
I don't drink it at all. I think I do every now and then, but certainly not enough to warrant 40 teapots.
I was going to ask you, how many do you have?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of how many I left back because I have several in this pattern in different colors. I have a couple in this pattern in different colors, several in this pattern, and I want to have 40 or 50 teapots.
Wow.
Which is nothing compared to some other more avid collectors, but enough.
Sure. Now, is there one that you would love to have that you just don't have yet?
There are a couple. There's a really funny story there's a donut teapot that I have in this bright, bright, bright red. And it's beautiful. It is a donut. There's a hole in the middle of it, and it is one of the most unique teapots. And I was in Kentucky doing something with a coworker many years ago, and they had one, but the little spout was cut off. And I was so desperate to have it, I paid a ridiculous amount of money for it. And I brought it home and I said, look, I've got a donut teapot. And my husband said, it's broken. I said, but it's a donut teapot. And we keep it in our shelf, but we hide the spout so that you can't see. So that's one. And the other one was, they did an entire Art Deco line with some really funky, it was just these nice sort of inlaid shapes and patterns in it. And the teapot is called Damascus. And again, it's extraordinarily rare. I've never seen it, but I would really like to have one.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. We'll be on the lookout, won't we?
Thank you.
We'll definitely contact you if we find one.
Thanks.
So you don't drink tea. What else besides display? Do you use them for any other interesting uses?
No. In fact, we have a really nice cabinet that we have them in. It's very bright in the corner of our living room. And if there is a fancy dinner or whatever, I will bring out some of my serving pieces. I'll use this when I have company for making pancakes and serving because it's a batter jug. But other than that, no. When I was cleaning it out, I pulled out this little gold dot, and my son said, "Boy, that's the coolest thing. Where'd we get that?" Honey, it's been on display for your entire life.
Boys.
Right.
Speaking of boys, what's your husband think of your collection? He probably has his own. You said you guys collect other things too.
He and I both collected this rather avidly together. I think he selected this teapot because he really likes it, and he likes this one. These are called Airflow, and he really likes that teapot. So he was pretty instrumental. We went up against friends at an auction for this, and we were both bidding against each other, and I won because I was willing.
Now, I noticed you didn't say ex-friends, so they're still
they're still really good friends. They actually collected Hall Chaney. They collected a pattern called Crocus and a variety of teapots as well.
I see. So where are your favorite hunting grounds? You said you went to Third Sunday Market in Bloomington, which I've been to a couple times. That is a fun place to go. You never know what you're going to find.
No, way back when, and I don't know if it's still where it was. It used to be off of Veterans Parkway out by the airport years and years ago. I think actually there's a soccer field there now. But we haven't been there again in years. And we used to travel up and down state, or was it, I guess it was State Route 40 or US Route 40 through Brazil, Indiana. And we travel back and forth. There were a number of really nice antique shops there. And we travel up and down I-55 all the way to Litchfield because there were a number of really cool antique places. That was before the days of eBay. And, you know, once eBay got on, we were just sort of done.
So do you stay up late nights and look for pieces? You
I
said
don't
you haven't
anymore.
Really
I really don't anymore. Occasionally I'll look and see if I can find, you know, prices on things. I've got a couple of items that I still cannot locate. I don't know anything about them. And I'll get online. There's a huge Hall Collector Society that is online and a message board on Yahoo, and I'll occasionally get on and try and find information, but most people don't know.
I
what
see.
they are. Yeah.
So this is your hobby. What do you do as a profession?
I'm a graphic designer for the university, and my husband teaches here in metalsmithing and jewelry design. So we sort of have an appreciation for eclectic
And lines.
shapes and lines and color.
color.
Right.
I see, I see. Well, is there anything else you'd like us to know about Hall Chinaware?
You know, nothing that, you know, nothing other than the fact that it was really one of the most fun times we had collecting. You know, I love all the different patterns and shapes. I have a ton of it on display. It's impossible to keep clean all the time. But you know, if you're into a collection, these are kind of fun, different shapes. They're really old and they tend to appreciate over time, and it's kind of fun to see them every day.
Wonderful. Now, I know they're located in Ohio. Have you been there?
We've never been there. The friends of mine that we went up again auction, they did. And they used to have, they told me that there was an old burn pile that was there for years and years, and they actually went scavenging through that looking for old pieces and actually came across a couple of cute little saladware plates from way back when that they found buried in there.
I see. Well, Daphne, thank you so much
very
for bringing. I know it
welcome.
wasn't easy to bring all these lovely
it's a
pieces.
pleasure.
Maybe a little nerve-wracking.
Pack
but
them up
thank you.
nice.
Thank you so
You're
much for
very
joining
welcome.
us. I appreciate it, Daphne.
you.
I am so excited about our next guest. I mean, all our guests are special, but I'm kind of partial to this guy. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and I've known him all my life. I want to welcome Dan Smith to our show, and Dan is my dad. Dad, welcome.
Jessica, thank you.
I tried calling him Dan, it just doesn't work, so I'm just going to call him Dad. Now, Dad, I am excited to have you for so many reasons, of course, but you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth, so to speak. We both love to take something old, put a spin on it, use it, don't put it in the landfill. We like to pack rat it away because we know someday there's going to be the perfect project for that piece. Where did you get that passion? I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready. I was thinking, it wasn't from Grandpa, right?
No. Some of it was from Grandpa. Grandpa saved a lot of things, but it goes back to my childhood. It goes back to my grade school. I had a wonderful teacher. Her name was Zola Wolf, and all the boys in the one-room schoolhouse had a coping saw, and we had a wood burner, and we cut boards and we nailed things together. She would go by the grocery store on the way to school and pick up old orange crates and fruit crates and bring them, and we'd make things out of them.
And you brought a couple samples, which I'm
did.
excited about.
I did.
I love this one. Is this probably one of the earlier ones?
That's one of the earlier ones.
1956.
Oh, I wasn't even born then, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. How old were you there? About
10 years old. I would have been 9 at that time when we made that. I would have been in the 4th grade.
Okay.
And that's a piece of crate. And all the kids actually put their hand on their board and they drew around it, and then they wood burned it. And it says, "Upon my palm, I love you, Mom." And that would have been given to my mother for Mother's Day gift in 1956.
I love that. And you still live on the old homestead. You're from Casey.
I do, yes.
And you told me you didn't see a reason to ever move from that spot.
Not if I was ever going to move back. I just as well stay. So.
About how many yards from your childhood home?
We're about 700 feet.
I love that. And this is another one. Is this made out of a crate too?
Yes, it is, yeah. And this our teacher always took pictures with her old box camera, and then when we made something, a lot of times she would take a picture that had us in it, and we'd put it on here. This used to be a calendar. This is a 1956 as well, and
I love that. Okay, now wait,
I'm on this.
oh, he's the cutie.
Yeah,
He's
right.
number 2 there. I don't know if you can even zoom in on that one, but
But
that's where I
this-
get my looks. Not my hair,
Right.
but my looks.
But this, the significant thing about this, it was a pencil holder, and at that time, the school superintendent, of course this was a country school, the county school superintendent would have visited 1 or 2 times a year to every school in his jurisdiction, and he brought us a pencil, and it would have been the first pencil. It would have had his name on it, and it would have had the Pledge of Allegiance with the brand new words, "Under God." And so that's the pencil that sat in this one.
Awesome story.
Very, very precious pieces.
Now you used an interesting medium for this one, didn't you?
Yeah,
As a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well,
I know it's a bird, but
It's a bird, and they called it plastic wood. I don't even know if it's still available. It's a product that didn't lend itself to staining or anything like that, but that's what you fill nail holes with. And you actually open the can and you just dip it out and you glob it on there in the shape that you want, and then you paint it. So I don't know whose gift it was, but it was a neat project.
and they kept it. I like that.
I kept it.
Well, that's a little while ago,
That's
but
a
you're
long
still
time.
doing this. Now you
Yep.
are kind of a pack rat, you got to admit.
Yeah, I am.
And people, now that they know you're making stuff out of old stuff, they bring you
Yes,
stuff.
Yes.
So one of my favorite things you're doing right now, you got to pick up one of those awesome cans. When you first started this, you were thinking,
Yes.
this is a great guy
Yeah,
container.
absolutely. Put it in the garage,
Nuts,
put nuts
bolts.
and bolts, nails, whatever. Put it on a shelf. Put 15 of them up there.
But what you're finding is that
Well, I've never sold one to a guy yet. Ladies seem to be attracted to them, and especially if they've still got the labels on. So the place I get the cans from, I had to go back and say, please don't tear labels off anymore. Protect the labels when you pour things. And so I get these cans and I shellac them. So they're very durable, and then I put a handle on them. Some ladies will, well, one lady said she's going to keep her spoons and forks and knives in it. I drill holes in some of them for women. They put potted plants in them. So just kind of a neat.
I'll just keep that for later. That
Okay.
one might go home with me. Okay, I want to show some more fun things. This is fun. What were these? I love this shelf. You can hang a lot of things on this. I can think of a lot of uses.
These were actually more than twice that long. They were spindles or spools out of a machine threader or something like that.
From a factory?
From a factory. And I just cut them off because they lend themselves better to hanging something. And then this is just an old piece of door casing. This is just a scrap board, and
Love it.
makes a neat little shelf.
And I love, right now, my dad's always telling me never throw a drawer away. It doesn't matter if it's a vanity that's broken down, a dresser, whatever, just don't throw a drawer away. Once you pick up, we have a drawer, just to kind of show you the before.
Well, you
This
can.
is your average drawer,
This-
right? Let's point it, yeah, there you go. So you
This
can
is
see
a
it.
drawer out of a dresser. I call them, it has a serpentine front on it. It's the kind that I desire. This is probably out of a 1955 to 1965 bedroom suit. And I really don't care for the dresser, I just want the drawers. And so once I get a drawer like this, then I take the handle off, and using just a few wood scraps to make frame, I make doors. I put a shelf in it, and a little wooden knob on it, and I have a cabinet.
And what I love is the serpentine front of the drawer, how that makes such a cool top.
Absolutely. And,
Very neat.
And then just, of course, I paint them and distress them a little bit. And the glass is all used glass. It came out of old storm windows.
Nothing goes to waste, does
Nothing
it?
goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste.
And you make cabinets out of a lot of different things. I've seen
yes.
picnic baskets. Shoot,
If
we
it's
have
a-
another one here. Let's show this one. This one is a cabinet made out of,
A Coca-Cola case.
yeah. This is,
Wasn't in the best of shape, but I had this old washboard, and everybody knows what a washboard is. But the bottom of that case wasn't very good, so I had to put a piece of plywood in the back of it, and I added a shelf. And of course, the washboard doesn't have this on it, so I put a dowel in here to hang a towel on or a washcloth or something like that. It makes a neat cabinet.
Yeah, that would be awesome in a laundry room. I love it. Now, we kind of had to have you on the show, didn't we? Because really, if it weren't for Dad, we wouldn't have a set. When I found out that I was going to get to be part of the show, I was so excited and started talking to the producer about doing a set. And Dad, I said, I have a challenge for you. And that's usually about all I have to say. My favorite phrase that you use is, you know, a guy could ... And so we started talking about set. I was telling you I needed a large desk. And this is what you came up with. Tell us what this is made of.
Well,
it's all repurposed.
It's all repurposed. The front of it is a panel door. The ends, I believe, are out of a flush door, cut in half. If you look closely, you can see a doorknob hole in one end of it. The top is a hollow core door. And then I just actually put a board around it just to add some trim. And then on the corners of the front of the desk, you see the spindles. That is one spindle out of a foot of a bed, and I cut it down the middle and just applied it to it.
I love that.
Whatever we could find.
And then you let me pick out the color.
Yes.
Now, did I not help? I helped paint it, right? Do I get some credit at all?
I'll give you some credit.
Some credit.
For bringing the challenge to me, yes.
Whenever I have sometimes I can design something or get a vision for something, but when it comes to implementation, hey, Dad, could you maybe?
And the best product is the product you didn't have to go buy anything to get.
That's exactly right. I mean, yeah. We're going to get offers probably from people who want this desk. Now, what you can't see here is that actually at some point, you'll see a show where we actually have this tilted. It tilts. It's on hinges, right?
Yes, it does.
So another neat little feature. Now, you have a lot of stuff sitting around, Dad. What new projects do you have? Have you made anything recently that you just love?
I've got a beautiful table in the works. I've made two beautiful tables just in the last couple of weeks. Made them out of plastering lath. And I took an old door and took the glass out of it and put plastering lath in it. Another old not an old table, but a table that was discarded that had a glass top. I took the glass out, and we're putting plastering lath in it. The pedestals of the table is a hand-hewn beam out of an old barn, and so we're trying to get our inventory built up to go to Covered Bridge Festival this year.
Oh, wonderful! Now you use some really interesting things. What's the strangest thing? I can think of a couple. But what do you think the strangest thing is you've made something out of?
Well, I've made shells with pegs on it to hang coats using shotgun shells. I've made a shelf with pegs using spark plugs. And
you've used pudding cups, Dad.
I've used
pudding
cups.
cups?
Pudding cups. I can't think of anything I haven't used, really. If it comes my way, it'll be used for something.
That's right. And I can remember hours. This is where I get it. I always tell people I come by it honest. I can remember hours pounding nails into old wood. You were pretty brave. You let me use the drill, press, the jigsaw. I can remember.
Once a child gets to 4 years of age, they should be able to use a drill press and a scroll saw.
Well, I'm glad you qualified that and didn't just say power tool.
Right, yes.
Well, and I love that because you even got my son interested in it. He was wood burning at an early age. So
Absolutely.
Dad, you are by far my favorite guest I've had, even though we've just started the show and haven't had that many episodes. I think you're going to be a hard guest to beat. I love you.
I love you too. I love you.
I will not kiss you, though.
No, that's
They
good.
won't embarrass you. I don't kiss my guest on the show. Thanks, Dan Smith of KZ. Thanks for watching. See you again soon on Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles.